explain the driver in details in terms of the revenue growth in your direction, and especially area like digital transformation, when you will have a CAGR at 18%, it was something that is new under the strategy of equity. So how do you come up with such a growth assumption?
First of all, thank you for your questions. About the revenue driver for the technology sector of equity, we break down the revenue of software association into 4 markets. And then we break down the revenue of each market into 5 groups of customers and categorize by the revenue contribution. Then the revenue of each group will be driven by 2 drivers. The firstly is the customer base growth, and the secondly is the revenue per customer. While customer base growth will be driven by 2 sources, which is existing customer who jump from the group of lower revenue contribution to the higher one, and the new customer. While the revenue per customer will be driven according to the IT spending in each market, according to the report of IDC.
What about the digital transformation with CAGR 18.5%?
Thank you for your question. Regarding digital transformation trend, we know that this is a really new industry, and MBT has prepared a lot for this, to capture this advantage. Firstly, they invest a lot in new technologies with a high R&D over necessary result, that is 0.6% compared to only 0.4% of peer average, would give them an advantage to develop new technology to capture the chain. Secondly, they also emanate with intelligence so that they can move up the value chain to additional 150 consultants, and also the end-to-end contracts that will give them the full value, like they will take the contract we have from the beginning to the end, so that they will increase their profit.
Thank you for your beautiful presentation. I have one question with 2 parts. Number 1, how did you come up with your comparables list when you were doing the sum of parts relative valuation? I don't know if I have missed it. I didn't see who your comparables were. That's question number 1. Second part is, where did you get this 80-20%, 18% for DCF and 20%? Just how did you justify that? Thank you.
Thank you for your question. The reason behind we allocate 80% for discount cash flow valuation and 20% for some parts solution, because for discount cash flow valuations, because equity is a conglomerate which has a strong cash flow, and this method consider and analyze a company under the fundamental driver, therefore can help us to capture the long-term growth. While for some of the past solution, because of some limits such as lack of domestic competitors, as well as the competitor in regional are not absolutely similar to the business model of equity. Therefore, we should allocate 20% for this valuation method. And according to our observation, when we follow the analyst report of other analysts in the market, they usually allocate 75-80% for discount flow, and the remaining for some of the population. And in conclusion, that are the reason we allocate this promotion.
In your presentation, it showed that Japan is the largest market of the software outsourcing business. So do you think, is there any risk there? And how can FPT can balance the growth drivers from other markets?
Thank you for your question. Japan is the most challenging market in the world, and FPT has a strong customer base in this market with 300 top Japanese customers such as Mitsubishi, Hitachi, and this big customer will help them to gain a very good reputation, because Japanese customers usually have a very close relationship with each other. So when you already gain the trust from one of the big of them, you will easily gain the new customers. And also ABT has laid a very good foundation in this market, as they have ABT Japan Academy, which teach their employees Japanese so that they can get on well with the customer here. And also they have a very good policy, like if you are an IT engineer, ABT will sponsor 100% of your studying, so that you will return, you have to work for them like 3 years, and this will guarantee the IT labor so that they can have very good supply of it. And about the risk, because like ABT might run the risk of being compete with the other Vietnamese IT service providers, because these also have the same labor force with ABT. However, we recognize that this is very low, because 88.6% of Vietnamese IT service providers in small scale and family owned, and they don't have enough capital to invest in new technologies, also not enough in human resources, so that they can take the large contracts.
Regarding into the risk, ABT also runs the risk of reputation damage in the Japan market, because this is a very challenging market. So ABT also do the survey periodically with the third party who would do the business with ABT, and do their communication process to solve the communication crisis.
I have a question for the team. Do you think that with the introductions of 5G, it can disrupt the telecom market segment of FPT, and that can erase the whole growth from the software outsourcing that they are trying to build up? Thank you.
Thank you for your question. Firstly, we have already compared the data to show that fixed line broadband internet really defeats the mobile internet in terms of download and upload speed. Secondly, come back to 5G, we see the new technology is expected to make a huge change in our life and improvement compared to 4G in terms of latency and speed. It means that faster speed and lower lagging time. But according to leading company in 5G invention like Huawei, they stated that 5G is the most complicated infrastructure in system in our history. It means that at the initial stage, it can be built on a standalone mode, but sustain and complement 4G. So we believe that it can be considered the terminators to fixed line broadband internet in the short run. However, this is a threat for fixed line broadband internet of ABT in the long run. So yes, we should monitor the action of the company, whether they take any step against this trend or not. It may be if they don't do anything, we can reconsider our buy recommendation.
Thank you.
How did you come up with the terminal growth rate of 3%? What was your thinking?
Thank you for your question. The terminal growth rate of 3% are chosen based on 3 reasons. Firstly, a long-run Vietnam inflation rate of 3.5% to 4%. Secondly, the long-run global IT spending of 3% according to the report of IDC. And thirdly, the software outsourcing revenue growth during the next 5 years of 4%, according to the report of Technario.
Does it have anything with the growth rates in Japan or where you are selling your products?
Because ABT is a company which has the market in the global. But we also analyze the global IT spending in Japan. According to IDC, the growth rate of digital transformation as well as the IT spending in this market will be 3 to 4% over the next 5 years.
So the trend in countries like even the US, that the Gen Y or Gen Z, the generation of 2000, they are going mobiles only. So telecom for FPT is broadband. Is it the trend that you could expect to see among the young, or even the young from the third tier or second tier city in Vietnam, that they're gonna just choose mobiles only?
and it could be a wrong strategy to invest further into telecom, as well as there is advantage compared to retail.
So thank you, judges, for your question, and thank you, team, for your Q&A session. Judges, you have 10 minutes for scoring the sheet.